they don't see your vision. People, a lot of people never imagine what I have now. You know what I'm saying? I stayed in that suburban. We in a A+ school district, planned neighborhood, got two-story house, got nice cars now, whatever. But I seen that vision. I seen all that when I was sleeping on the park bench.
First, let me thank the sponsors of the podcast, helping get these awesome episodes out to you guys. So first up, we got hvaclife. Have you ever had an annoying issue where you could have resolved it if you just had seen what the other person on the line was seeing? You could be busy, you could be taking calls from either your technicians or your customers, and it could be a nuisance call. It could be like a breaker that was turned off. They don't know how to turn on the system. Your tech is out there and they're trying to explain something over the phone, and you need to see it to help them out. Well, with hvaclife, Tether It Now, you can do that. It's like a FaceTime, like a video call, and you're able to, it's more of a virtual type of deal because you're able to draw on the screen, point out different things, take a photo, and have all these records and that you can use for like training later, and you can kind of go back and see these issues that you helped resolve over the phone. You can use live video, augmented reality tools to guide, your simple fixes, see the situation maybe before you go out there. Maybe you need to go pick up parts, or you kind of need to see something before you can actually tell them if you can go fix it or whatever it may be. So you reduce wasted trips, increase customer satisfaction. There's no apps, no downloads, just a text message, and then they can get a link to connect. So the future of remote support has arrived. Learn more at hvaclife.com/hvac. And with Jobber, that is a CRM that we use. So that is night and day. We used to do paper invoices and I hated it. I hated doing the billing. I blocked off a day to do it, and it just took up a lot of time. So once we switched over to Jobber, I don't really spend time in the office too much doing paperwork. A lot of this stuff is already digital in their system. I can schedule jobs, which is maintenance. It reminds me and it reminds the customer, all that is done in the software, automated. And then you can have really nice quoting, invoicing, and then send this out through email, through PDFs, customer portal, whatever you want to do to have the customer view it and then pay you online. And you can take payments with Jobber. It's a lot quicker than the old mail out a check, mail out the invoice, collect invoices in person, all that stuff. So check it out. Visit getjobber.com/reliablehvacr. You get a 2-week free trial. You get a really nice discount. Go check that out. I appreciate the sponsors of the podcast. Hola, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Reliable HVACR podcast. I appreciate everybody tuning in. If you're on YouTube, please make sure you're subscribed, like, comment, all that good stuff. If you're over on the audio podcast on any platform, please leave a review. Help the show get out to more people. And like I said, I appreciate you guys. So this is essentially the last show of the year. It's what I'm calling the season finale of season 1. So 2023 is basically over. We're here, and we had a really good run for season 1. And then when we start back up in January, that'll be season 2. So on this episode, we have Walter Washington. His YouTube channel is hvac. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen him. He posts a lot of good stuff. He streams a lot of his repairs and when he's on the rooftops and stuff, and shows a lot. He helps a lot. I know he likes to help people with anything he can, right? Whether it's the content creation side, the repairs that he does, or building a business, because he's all about that. He dove into a lot of books. He did his research, and he did really well for himself. So in this episode, he's going to talk about I mean, he doesn't like to call them struggles. They're just things that were put in front of him, things that he had to overcome, a lot of difficult things that anybody else would have probably upped and quit. But if you can see his story and see where he is now, I think it's very inspirational for a lot of people. I think it's a cool story. He's a good dude, a lot of good energy, but very chill. I like his vibe. So, without further ado, here is Walter Washington, WWHVAC. Yo, Walter, how are you, man?
Man, I'm great, fantastic. I'm blessed. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. You know, HVAC, or we stay busy, right? We're always working, we're always doing something.
Man, 365, it ain't no turn it off. That's why I say, hey, name of my show, HVAC People. That's why I say we unique, some unique individuals, 365 all the time. No turning off.
Hey, man, can you give us a shout out to HVAC People real quick?
All right, HVAC People. Yes, sir.
Man, I remember that because I used to watch your channel like years ago, and that always like stuck in my head, man. I was like, oh, that's really cool.
Man, I don't know really how I got there, man. It's just one, like I say, because kind of like how I just explained it then, we kind of unique, really no turning off. And I just wanted to give a shout out to everybody, just doing HVAC, man. I just said that one day, and like I say, it's kind of stuck with me too. I just say HVAC People. Yep.
How's work up in Houston? I know you're up in Houston, Texas.
Yep.
I'm down here in South Texas. The weather might be similar, but are you doing like AC work or heat calls? What do you got?
Man, both. We're doing a lot of maintenance right now. But in the morning, they running the heat, and then in the evening time, they turn it on the AC. I think right before I told you this, it's kind of warm up in my house right now. So I got the AC going on. So yeah, man, we kind of doing a little bit of both maintenance, heat calls, and no cooling calls.
So you run your own business, right? You run your own thing. Is it just you, or do you have guys that work for you, or how? What's the size of your company there?
Yeah, so right now I just hired an apprentice, and he's my brother actually. At first,
Cool.
At first it was pretty much just me. Every now and then I hire a helper, kind of like fresh out of school, or and then as far as my installs and stuff like that, I have a subcontracting crew that does pretty much all my new installs.
And I've talked to other guys that love, talking about the big businesses and expanding and all that. But usually, like for us too, we're small. It's me and my brother doing the HVAC stuff, and then my dad and his brother doing like the kitchen equipment, right?
Okay.
So we mostly do like restaurants, hospitals, anything that has a kitchen, and we do a little bit of everything. So
okay, so y'all almost kind of, because I've been staying away from kitchens and stuff like that. So y'all kind of opposite of me as far as that. But I do residential and like commercial.
Okay, that was going to be my next question. You mostly do like residential. I've seen a lot of residential on your channel.
Yeah,
and I had seen that you do some RTUs and stuff here and there.
Right. So I pretty much do for myself. So really now I've been marketing towards more commercial. When I got into the trade, that's why I started out in commercial. That's all I knew was commercial HVAC. But as far as starting my own business, once I got my contractor license, it was more easier for me to get the commercial clients and really to gain the capital that I needed, because it was faster money. A lot of commercial to do net 15s and net 30s. I needed the money right now because I didn't want to start my company in too much debt. So I signed up with a bunch of warranty companies like that. But right now I'm kind of restructuring and kind of rethinking how I want to run my business. Do I want to keep it small, or do I actually want to grow? Because I actually think I want to grow now, man. Because a lot of business owners that start off as actually technicians, I think we have the mind state of, let's just replace my income. And that's kind of how I started off. I'm working with a large company, making good money. And I just said, I'd be okay, if I could just replace, or at least get kind of like the same income that I'm making for the company. And that's really the wrong mind state to have. When I start off, okay, let's say if a company paying me $30 or $40 an hour, I'm like, okay, if I double that and pay myself $80 to $100 an hour, working for myself, I'd be doing good. That's pretty much replacing my income. But man, now that I've been in business, and I know how expensive it is to run a business, as far as insurance and stuff like that. Man, you got to charge three, 4 times as much if you want to grow. If you want to actually have a retirement plan. If you want to get new tires on your truck and not be out there dangerous because you can't afford tires because you're only kind of trying to replace your income and only charging just enough really to pay your bills and stuff like that. But if you actually want to grow, you really have to charge accordingly to expand. To hire employees and hire help and stuff like that, and make sure they be able to have some insurance and good tires on their personal vehicle and stuff like that. So yeah.
Man, and that's tough because we've been through that. Like we've been in business going on 16 years now, or a little over 16 years.
Okay, congratulations.
And yeah, man, and like when we started, we took on like too much work too, and got in over our head. But then we started hiring people, and that's always a hard part because you don't know, like you don't. I have trouble trusting people, right? And we've been taken advantage of too, because there's that whole dynamic of it. But
that's difficult. Sometimes hiring good people, they're gonna have the same drive that you have, and
exactly.
I know that's a difficult process. Even when I was working for a company, I was a supervisor, and I sat in some of the hiring process and doing the interview. So I kind of seen both sides, and I kind of know what to expect, and I know it could be difficult.
Yeah, man, and we did hire. Like I said, they some of them took advantage. They're trying to do their own side jobs with our parts or our refrigerant, or have the van and use it as a personal vehicle. There's all these little things that you got to think of when you start hiring.
Yeah, and a lot of people ask me that too, because I want to lead by example. So even with my company, when I really start hiring, I don't want you to be doing side jobs. But even when I was working for a company, I was doing side jobs, but I never.
Yeah, there's a way to do it.
But I never took any of their customers. Cause like I told you, that's how I started out in residential. I wasn't doing commercial, and I work for Waste Service. That's a large company here, and I work for Hunting Train. Train, one of the largest. That's Train. They got several different light commercial. It's a big company, but I never was in competition with them. And like I say, they know pretty much I had my contractor license, stuff like that, but I would never compete with them. And actually, I had my own vehicle, I had my own tools.
Okay.
And that was the hard part too. Look, because I was just jumping my truck, and everything pretty much documented too, because I had my YouTube channel at the time. But I would actually take my that's hard sometimes, man. You taking your tools out their van and put it in yours and running calls when I get off of work. So if I get off of work, at my main job at 3 or 4 o'clock in the evening, I would still run calls for myself about 3 or 4 hours and doing like home warranty work and stuff like that. But to say this though, like I say, I wasn't using any of their tools or the company vehicle to run my business. I would try to keep the integrity as far as if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it the right way.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, there's a way to do it, because like I don't care if our guys, because we don't do residential. I don't want to have to deal with that. We strictly do commercial, and we can be picky at this point. But if somebody asks me for residential work, I'll offer it to one of the guys, right? Or whoever wants to take it. I'm like, go do it.
Right. And like I say, not only that, because I know we'll have people looking and listening to this. I made sure I had all my insurance, I had my contractor license and all that before I started too. If you're gonna do side work, get your contractor license, get your insurance, and do it the right way.
How long have you had your business?
So I got my contract license in 2017, and like I say, and I started doing little side jobs in 2018. Because I got the contract license in 2017, and then once I got my my EIN number, got all the insurance and stuff like that, and was ready to roll, it was like 2018, and that's when I started doing the side jobs and started doing home warranty companies. That's when I started marketing for guerrilla marketing for boots on the ground, putting out sound and stuff like that. But I actually went full time in 2022.
Okay.
Summer of 2022 during COVID. That's when I say, hey, I think I'm ready to do this thing full time. So I guess 3 going on 4 years now. Man, time fly.
Yeah, man. I remember you doing those videos where you were like going to take your contractor's license, and you had all the books and everything. You're trying to get that done, and I was like, man, that wasn't too long ago.
Yeah.
I thought I feel like you've been in business for yourself for longer, but um,
Oh man, like I
time
said,
time
bro,
flies.
yeah. That and man, I try to watch, try to read up on a bunch of business and stuff like that, and that's why I got got out my website, my shirts, everything kind of look like I've been in business for a long time. That's what a lot of my customers think also, that we've been in business for years and it's like family owned. But I'm still learning, man, and I'm still trying to grow it.
And that's what it takes to have your own business and stuff. You're like, yeah, you're doing the calls, you're doing the HVAC work, you're doing the weekends and all that, but you got to get better at the business side, right? Because
Man,
there's you can be the best at what you do in HVAC,
yeah.
but if you don't know how to handle your business, man, you're not gonna last.
Man, you got to be able to handle your business, man. And like I say, and that's what I'm trying to transition into. That's what I've been transitioning to, for the last couple of years, and just try to get out the technician frame of mind. Because that technician, I'm the type, man. When I was a technician, though, I got the old school mentality. I remember saying, like, like carpenters and stuff like that back in the day. They used to
Mm,
write their name behind the sheetrock. Like, yeah,
mm,
I did this kind of work like this. So true enough, I want to do quality work, and I want my technicians to do quality work. But at the same time, business, sometimes you got to get in and out because you got to be
mm-hmm.
efficient at the same time. But you do want to do quality work, keep the foundation, do everything right. But at the same time, because we don't want callbacks. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like I said, you got to pull your back and check your micron gauge, do the correct things. But at the end of the day, as far as a businessman, man, I have to rethink this thing, because you'll be out of business real fast. Just trying to nitpick and make sure everything is 1000% correct. So like I said, I'm transitioning from the technician to the business mind for sure. You know.
Yeah, man. And then like with us too, like starting out, trying to figure it out and stuff. Uh Branding is a whole thing, getting work. Like we would go out there, and I think I've heard you say the same thing. Like even though we're commercial and we're not going door to door in a neighborhood looking for work, but we're going restaurant to restaurant
Mhm.
in person, leaving flyers or whatever we got,
Yeah.
making sure our name is on everything, branding's on point. Like you
Mhm.
said, like put your company name on everything. Don't be ashamed to tell people I do this for a living, and I got my own business, right? Tell people, because then
Yeah.
word of mouth is like the best advertisement too.
Yeah, I can tell people too. Most likely, especially in this area right here, if you know me, you're gonna know me from HVAC, and I feel that same vibe about you. I feel that if a lot of people know you, they know you do HVAC work.
Yeah.
'Cause every time I see you, you got some HVAC on that's branded. So
Hey man, that's another thing, right? It's like, and my dad, I brought that to him because I was like, put your name on everything. Put like we got, giving out
yeah,
tumblers and mugs and stuff. I'm like, do it. I was like, it's gonna cost you a little bit, to get that made and stuff, but that's the stuff that stands out. And now it's all about social media too. So I've been
hmm
trying to get on there and trying to get the channel is one thing, but like getting our name out and trying to be on all these platforms, and I, I can't do Facebook ads or anything like that because I'm not looking for a homeowner, but
okay,
I put all my work on social media just to
mhm.
see get people's attention, get eyes on us. And then we've
Yes.
been fortunate, man. Just word of mouth is like the best.
Yeah. So you've been doing all your branding and stuff like that. Do you do that for your company? I know you
Yeah,
say
because
I know you said
when
do your brother help you do that, or do you do that part of the
I do everything from designing
mhm.
logos, the uniforms, the wraps,
Yeah.
our
Oh,
website.
wow.
I
Wow,
do
so,
all that
oh,
stuff.
man, you do a good job then, brother. Yep.
Hey man, I appreciate that. But when I started, my dad was doing, like I said, this as a side job on the weekends and whatever, and he was building it up while he still had his other job. And then I wasn't even thinking of getting into the trades because I was like going to school for something else, electrical engineering, because I like working. I still like working with stuff, but I never thought of HVAC.
Mm,
And I was going to college, and he started his business. I'm like, hey, you need some business cards, right? I went on the computer and kind of designed something, printed them out for him, and then I just kept going from there. Then we did flyers and we did brochures, and then he needed uniforms and the wrap and all that. So I've always been on that side just because I'm good at computers and Photoshop and that kind of stuff. So got that going for him, and then later on, I was like, well, you know what, maybe let me try this HVAC thing out, and then I got into it.
Yeah, man. You smart, man. And like I say, a lot, man, so many smart people in HVAC, dude. I'm talking about
We can
engineers.
we can do a lot. A
Yeah,
lot of HVAC techs can do a lot of stuff.
y'all got a good team, then, man. I I know he
Yeah,
proud of you.
because
Take it
some
to another
people try to work with their families, and they have issues, or they butt heads or whatever. And I know a lot of people, like, I've had a couple recently that they would work for their dad, like I did, but then they would leave because it wasn't working out or whatever. And I was like, I don't know. We have a good dynamic. We have a good partnership. That's how I describe it.
level.
Um,
Yeah, that's
I'm
good.
gonna give him like his credit. It's his company, right? I just helped him out, kind of molded it for him, got our name out there, and like now we just like, it's like I said, we don't do the same thing. He does like the cooking equipment,
Mhm.
but we're a team there. I'll do this, you do that,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
it's been working out, man.
No, that's awesome, man. Are you gonna have you already interviewed him on your show?
No, I'm trying to see when I can do that. I need to get him on here,
Yeah,
and
I look forward to hearing that. That'd be nice.
yeah, he has a lot of he'll be a good one. I just haven't planned that out yet. I need to get him on here soon. I've seen, like I said, your other podcasts that you've done, and I've been following you for a while now. You got like a lot of stories, a lot of stuff to tell. I'm just gonna ask you like, how did you get into the trade? I don't know how far back you want to go. That's totally up to you. If you want to tell everything, that's
Yeah,
fine.
so I got into the trades, man, from a youngster though, to be honest with you. But that's for a plumber. My stepfather, you can say my godfather, the man that really stepped up and was in my life. He was a plumber. His father was a plumber.
Okay.
So I was born in '82. So man, probably around like maybe 91, 92. Uh, I'll say about the 1990, 89, 90, man. I was going out on jobs for them. But I couldn't be no
Oh
more
damn.
than 8, 9 years old. Uh, but we would start out with rough ends on plumbing because they was residential plumbers and stuff like that. So I just remember digging ditches, laying copper pipes, pulling the back then it way before PEX and stuff like that. So I would have to lay out a copper pipe down on the fan after we dig the dishes and we was a small company back then, kind of like you and your father them is now, man. Be honest with you, 'cause
Yeah.
it was my grandfather. It was like I say my dad and his brother. Uh,
Mm,
it was just them three, and I would just help out on weekends and stuff like that. But I remember we didn't have any tools to actually dig the ditches. You can go to Home Depot or
yeah.
some companies probably actually have the trench digger now. We would use shovels, dig all our trenches. But I remember, just laying the copper pipes and pulling the red and the blue part, the hot and the cold water stuff like
Hmm.
that. So I was introduced to the trade at a young age. So even in my teens and stuff like that, after my grandfather passed away, that was my daddy. He went full time with the company with his contractor license, his plumber contractor license. And I know I was young. I didn't really want to do the trades and stuff like that. So he would still pull me. I was in the streets. He would pull me out. Hey man, you gonna come to work with me? Yeah, after a long night of drinking and smoking or whatever I had going on, he would say, hey man, you finna get up early in the morning to go with me or whatever. But how I got introduced to HVAC, so it was years later, like I say, and after whatever Hurricane Katrina was.
Okay.
I don't know if you can look at that, maybe about 2005, 2008, somewhere in there. Somewhere, I think
Yeah,
maybe
that's
two.
what I was thinking. I don't remember the exact year, but yeah, it's around that time.
Yeah, so Hurricane Katrina came, and I'm from Mississippi, and I was in
Okay.
Vicksburg, Mississippi, during Hurricane Katrina, and it just salvaged the Gulf Coast. I know y'all seen the videos and heard of the story, but the Gulf Coast was
Yeah.
just a wreck. Uh, so I seen an ad in the paper, and that they was hiring or whatever. Anyway, I went down there to do what they was doing, debris removal. I didn't have a truck, anything, no dump truck, anything like that. So I was standing on the corner actually and write the tickets to the truckers for their loads. Somebody had to do that. They were paying us like $12 an hour, man. But we working 12-hour days, 7 days a week, you know, and I was just writing tickets. So that ran out, of course, no more work. So, but they had this thing called Project Rebuild. And Project Rebuild was like a government funded type deal where they was, because we were the trades was short. It was short of electricians and it was short of you know, plumbers and HVAC. Man, there's something told me I didn't even know what HVAC was at the time. Like I said, I was a plumber. I heard a plumber because the main thing I think we hear, well, I only heard was plumbers and electricians, maybe like pipe fitters, but I never really knew what.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I didn't even know what HVAC was, and I got into
I
it.
knew what HVAC was, and I think I had I got a video because I don't want to really go out. I want to stick to the story, but I got a video where I replaced my grandma air conditioner a couple years ago, and I'm staying with her with a furnace right across the hall from in the bedroom, you know, with the condenser outside and the evaporator coil hooked up. I never know what was in that closet. All I knew was the thermostat, you know, and she used to put tape on the thermostat so we couldn't crank it down no more than 78 degrees.
Yeah.
Never knew about HVAC, but I seen HVAC. So I used that Project Rebuild, and I went to Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College. And we had a professor named Chris. Man, I really kind of like, I like this me, man. I can do it. I was one of the first ones in class. I always had that mentality. And this was way back in, like I say, 2008, 2009. I was one of the first ones in class. I was like paying attention. I was there early. We were doing the workshop, but it was this little fast paced 8 weeks course. Like I say, Project Rebuild. They trying to get you in and out. That
was quick.
Yeah, to get your foot in the door. Even with the Project Rebuild course, I didn't have my EPA at the time, so I was still studying to get my EPA license, and I didn't have a GED at the time. So I don't want to use the excuse. Like I said, I don't really want to go in a tangent also, but
that's fine.
You got to think about it like this, because I'm saying now that was my mind state then when nobody give me an opportunity. Now I start reading books and personal development books and stuff like that, man. I really would overdose on stuff like that, really to get in a whole nother mental state. You know, I really worked on myself real hard, man, day in and day out. Like I said, man, if I'm gonna make this move, you know, I got to be a better individual. So that's why I'm big on personal development, because I just feel if we handle what's in, it's going to kind of show without another somebody going to, you know, give you opportunity. So I got all that together, man. Like I said, I loaded my truck up and moved to Houston. It still took me a year before somebody gave me an opportunity. Waste Service gave me the opportunity in 2012, and like I said, I never looked back.
So after you moved to Houston, you had to kind of wait it out.
Yeah, man, I still waited out. I don't really want to name a lot of companies, but I would fill applications out with a bunch of companies, and but I wouldn't give up. And if anybody know my story, I was staying in my truck the whole time. I really didn't have any money in it like that. I said I would not fill out an application for something that I do not want to do. I don't work so many jobs, bro. I don't work, man, from grocery stores to warehouse, packaging egg cartons, labor finders, digging, like I say, digging ditches, busting concrete. I always been a hard worker. I worked on the back of garbage truck. You name it, I done did it all. From restaurants, washing dishes, cooking food. So
was all that in Mississippi?
All that was in Mississippi, yeah. So like I say, so when I got the text, I say, man, because the reason I say this because I could have easily went to McDonald's or something and got a job or went back to a grocery store or something like that. And somebody would have hired me, but I didn't want to get in that comfort zone. So I only would fill out applications for HVAC company. That was it. And I say,
you were set on that.
I was set on that, man. I said, I'll go back to Mississippi if I got to do something that I don't want to do. I'd rather just be around family. And when I say I was in my truck, all my family loved me. I could always, state with somebody, and they're gonna be looking at you, man. You need to get up and help out on some of these bills, because anybody taking you in for a little while, be like, hey,
A little bit, yeah.
you can stay here for a couple of weeks, couple of months until you get on your feet or whatever. Then they'll be looking around because they don't see your vision. People, a lot of people never imagine what I have now. You know what I'm saying? I stayed in that suburban. We in a A+ school district, planned neighborhood, got two-story house, got
Hmm.
nice cars now, whatever. But I seen that bitch. I seen all that when I was sleeping on the park bench. You know what I'm saying? On the Gulf Coast, running 3 miles a day, and I know people was just looking at me running up and down that beach. But like I say, I was listening to Earl Nightingale, personal development stuff, Jim Rohn with my headphones in, running up and down that beach.
Hmm.
Because I knew I was going, you know what I'm saying? But even when I got to Texas, even at that mind state then, I was planting good seeds, but I never imagined it was gonna still take me another whole year, almost a year and a half for me to land a job. But it was almost a perfect man. I say God working mysterious ways. It was the perfect
Yeah.
situation for me to be where I am now. From Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College, the night that we were supposed to walk and graduate when they give you your diploma,
Yeah.
that's the night that I got in my truck and came to Texas. I still had a footage while I'm driving to Texas with everything in my truck. But that was the night I was supposed to walk. And the reason I didn't walk is I was saying, man, I want more than this, And even when I got to Texas, I enrolled in Houston Community College and started. They had an engineering program. I started going to school for engineering. I was like that, I want to do it big,
So
So
when you moved over to Texas, you were still learning and educating yourself
oh yeah,
in
for
the
sure.
meantime, even though you didn't have a job or anything.
Oh no, man, bro! I was at that school, man. I was at the Win Job Center after school, just filling out
Yeah.
applications, and even and when I say Win Job Center, for somebody that don't know what that is, that's like a employment agency around here in Houston, where you go and they try to help you find a job. But they would have programs and stuff like that to try to help you, be better at interviewing and stuff like that. But yeah, man, I stayed at bookstores. I had a gym membership at Planet for Fitness. Planet for Fitness at the time, when I joined the membership, they was kind of new, but
Hmm.
they was kind of nationwide. And if you I joined them Planet for Fitness in Mississippi, and
Oh, okay.
yeah, but I can use my same membership to go anywhere nationwide.
Hmm.
And I found one local where I was, man. I was just kind of moving around like that from the Win Job Center to ACCs, because ACC have multiple campuses and stuff like that, and I would just ride around, fill out application interviews, stuff like that, man, until I got the opportunity. Yep,
Man, and you said you were living out of that suburban, right? You did that for, was that over a year?
yep, yep. So it was over a year, man. 1993 suburban. Yeah,
That's crazy. Um,
yeah. That was 2011, man. Even if you went back and look at the weather, then I think that was one of the coldest weathers that
oh,
we
okay.
that we had in 2011, man. So it was some tough nights. I even my license was suspended. I went to jail during this time. And the lady, she was I think it was in Stafford, but I would stay at the Walmart parking lots. And,
Okay.
and I know it probably ain't got nothing to do with HVAC. This is my story.
It's just your story. That's fine, man.
Yeah. So, but I was staying in the Walmart parking lots, stuff like that. Walmart was staying before COVID. Walmart stayed open 24 hours at the time.
Yeah, back in the day, Walmart used to be open 24 hours.
Yep. So I used to blend in a little bit, but every now and then a cop, man, pull over and knock on my window, search around, see what I'm doing. I think this lady named Rodriguez. This was her second time knocking on my window or whatever. But anyway, the second time, because she kind of seen what I had going on. I had ACC books and stuff like that, all kind of books and stuff. So she obviously knew I wasn't no troublemaker. But anyway, this second time, man, she ran my ID, and I didn't have license and insurance, and all that stuff was suspended at the time. So I ended up even in jail for 2 weeks because I couldn't even afford to get out. And Texas have it to where I think I owed them like $1,400. Um, in Texas have it to where you can sit out. They get like $200 a day to go towards your fine. And yeah, man, I had to sit it
Oh,
out. And then I was like, man, God he was tempting me, man, but I stayed strong because even I was telling the lady, I was like, ma'am, she was like, Mr. Watson, oh, I wish you wouldn't told me to run your license. And
mm,
I was like, because she already ran them. Then by the time they ran them, it's in the system, and she had to lock me up. So they towed my truck and stuff like that. And I was like, man, and shouts out to her, man, because that lady got shot in the face. I think a couple years after that in a line of fire. But
damn.
she's doing okay now. But she's a good one. She gave me some words of encouragement. You know what I mean? But nah, man, that was a tough turn right there because I was like, man, I'm way up here trying to do what's right, and I'm sitting up here in jail. But those some tickets. Yeah.
Man, that's and it's you were living in your suburban, like you said, going around Walmart parking lots and doing what you had to, but it's not even easy for you to be doing that either. Like you said, the cops are always knocking on your door and trying to see what you're up to and stuff.
I wouldn't change none of it, man. It was an adventure, so it
Yeah.
got me where I'm here today. So, like I said, I'm blessed, really.
That's a good way to look at it, man, because like anything that anybody goes through is what makes them the person that they are, right?
Yeah.
Now, everybody, and I've talked, or I haven't talked to, but I've seen other guys that are doing very well for themselves too, like yourself. I mean, there's not a lot of them. They do prison time, that they have some issues in the past, but you can turn it around, and there's really no excuse, especially listening to what you've gone through.
Yeah,
Um,
no excuse
if
at
you put your foot down and you set your eyes on something, man, it's possible. And the trades, just like for anybody, like I wish I would have known about it sooner. I wish more kids would know about it. Because some of us, like when we're there trying to figure out what the hell we want to do, it's like, I don't want to be a doctor, I don't want to be a lawyer. I'm good at taking apart things, and that was me, right, as a kid, taking apart stuff,
Mhm.
uh learning how stuff works.
That's what we do. Take
And
stuff
it's like there's a whole world out there for you, right? Trades. If you're good with your hands, if anything happens, the trades is always there, and it's never out of business. It's never going away. It's something we need to talk more about.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm assuming you got into some trouble when you were younger, and uh, you did some time there.
Yeah, so
You don't have to go into detail. I'm just part of your story.
yeah, nah, I mean I can go in detail. I don't know if I ever shared it. So when I got to Texas, as far as when I told you I was in ACC going to study for engineering,
Uh huh.
I never really imagined, man, being a business owner this far as in HVAC. I knew HVAC is what I wanted to do, but when I got to waste service and stuff like that, they had an engineering department.
Okay.
So, and that's why I transitioned it to engineering because I was just going to school for ACC to get my basic associate in science, and that's when they opened up the engineering course. So, long story short, I had a felony on my record. Um,
Okay.
so, but it is expunged now back in Mississippi. But the reason I had that felony, like I said, man, I never was no bad guy, anything like that.
Yeah,
Uh,
and it doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, no. So I was dating my high school girlfriend at the time. That was my high school sweetheart. But her parents didn't like me. Like I say, because I was kind of, what I'm saying, around Busty's kid or whatever, doing what a lot of teenagers do in little small communities. But I was never doing, I know murder and anything like that. You know what I'm saying? But just a bad kid, really not paying attention in school and stuff like that. So her parents and stuff didn't really like me at all. To each his own, though. You know what I'm saying? Because
Hmm.
even when we that young, like I say, I was 16 at the time. She was 15.
Okay.
So with that being said, I mean, a 15-year-old, even for far as a male, we really supposed to be concentrating on school and anything. So
Hmm.
true, they want what's best for their daughter. But anyway, she was in love with me. I was in love with her. High school sweetheart love or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, she would give me her ATM card, but it was her family ATM card, and it was actually ATM card. this was back in the 90s now. So
Mm-hmm.
this before credit card stuff. And before I knew anything
Oh,
about
okay.
credit cards. So it would just start off where, hey, you take the car, you go get pizza or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And
Sure.
then you get to the point, hey, where you keep the card and use it however you want to use it. For what we need. I would use the card to buy weed. I would use the card to buy shoes. I would buy clothes.
Yeah.
'Cause, and like I say, it was a debit card going to a savings account, with her name, but it was like a family card for them. So, but this went on for like a whole year. You know what I'm saying? Everything was cool because I would just use it, but it started to add up. So I would sneak over there at night. And man, one night I snuck over there in her window. I'm tapping on the one, hey, you know what I'm saying? Let me, she let me in, man. And I don't know how, bro. We both fell asleep, and all I hear was her dad tapping on the door. No, she tapping on me. Her dad tapping on the door. Say, hey, it's my dad or whatever. So man, dude, I had a Kruger at the time. I think it was like a 1990 Kruger. But it
Okay.
had so, dude, man, I opened up the bathroom window, man. I ain't had none of my boxes on at the time. I just jump out the window, you know what I'm saying, scrape my stomach up a little bit, and I run to my Kruger. I ain't got no keys or nothing. But I parked on the hill, on the side of a hill or whatever. The Kruger had some buttons that I had a code that I could pop my trunk. I always kept a spare key in my trunk. And
Okay.
man, and bam, bam, bam. Opened up the trunk, and all I heard was boom. The guy shooting the
Shit.
rifle and everything. He probably shooting it in the air or whatever. I don't know, man. All I know is I'm gone. So man,
Damn.
look, so I'm out of there, man, and like now I'm staying at my grandma's house, man, and like 2 weeks later, I'm at my grandma's house, man, probably about four something in the morning, and man, here come the police knocking on the door, boom, 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 boom. My grandma come waking me up. Hey, Jeff, the officers out here want to speak with you. And
Hmm.
man, that's when my whole life changed. Seemed like it. So anyway, we go down to the police station because I don't know what's going on. I don't know what they got me down here for. So
And this is when you're like 16, 17, you said, right?
yeah.
And you're
So
just a kid.
yeah, so I like I said, I don't know what's going on. Why they got me down here? So I go in and it was about 4 in the morning when they knock on the door. So now I'm sitting in like a
Oh.
holding tank for like 5 hours. And I found a deputy come and talk to me, and that's the first thing he said. Like he brought up my girlfriend name, and I'm like, "What's this about?" And he said, "So tell me about this card right here. You've been using or whatever." I'm like, "Oh
Mm-hmm.
man, so this what this about?" Man, they interrogated me so long in their room because I think, man, totally it's probably less than $1,000 I used, man. But they interrogated me so long and that was my first time. I ain't never been into no trouble or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Never been in the jail. But man, they like I say, and I did use the card. I'm guilty of that, man. But they
Yeah.
they made me pay what they almost coerced me. And that's how I look at it. You know what I'm saying? I even told the parole board this because it's later down the road after I got convicted or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Later down the road, because I pleaded guilty. You know what I'm saying? But I was coerced, man, from every dime they used on the card from like January all the way to a whole year. Everything, every transaction,
Oh, they're
uh,
trying to get you for everything.
every transaction. I'm talking about what her father was making. I'm talking about he paying his bills with every transaction. Um,
Damn.
because what happened was though, and I kept on telling, he was like, he gave me that sheet of paper like 3 or 4 times. Now you use more than that. Cause I was telling what I used about probably this much. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I remember. I
Okay.
remember I got some Reeboks and stuff like that. And like I say, I even purchased weed and stuff like that. Cause it was ATM card, I can get cash out. I would get it no more than about $100 and here and there. And But man, that dude kept shoving that paper back in front of me, and like I say, they offered me drinks and stuff like that. Until I just man, yeah, man. Cause he was like, "Oh, you go and sign this paper, and you can go home." You know what I'm saying? And I
Yeah,
didn't.
because they're just trying to get you for whatever they can.
Oh, dude, I was like, man, yeah, man, I'm just ready to go home. But me not knowing then, I didn't know anything about the system. When he said I can go home, I'm thinking that okay, as soon as I do this, I'm finna walk out the door.
Yeah, like you're good.
Oh no, 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 no. After that, man, that's when they had to book me. They had to book me. I had to go bond out or whatever. Man, I think I still had to stay in there probably another 3 or 4 days for my family to come and get me. And then my family, they didn't know really nothing about the system either. We
Hmm.
didn't really have no money for no good lawyers or anything like that. And and yeah, man, I ended up getting so I ended up had to pay restitution. That was my plea deal. So I ended up since I signed the paper, the lawyer, she was a court appointed lawyer, and she really didn't help me out. I did the restitution time in a place called Greenville, Mississippi. Man, that's the most racist town that you ever want to be in, and that's what we call like the Delta, Mississippi. You know what I'm saying? You got the rest of Mississippi, South Mississippi. You got Delta, Mississippi, where they still kind of like got modern day slavery. If you get in one of these restitution forms, where you got to go out there and work, you know what I'm saying, plow the fields, do catfish farms, do chicken farms,
Okay.
and stuff like that, where you actually got to go work out your time. I don't know if you've seen the movie Life, you know what I'm saying, but it's kind of like that. But you actually out there going and working, and then
Yeah.
then you go back to the prison or whatever and
Okay.
stay in the bunk. You get up the next morning, and how that situated is just say if I had to pay $10,000 back, right?
Yeah.
Restitution is, man, you have to go and you still have to pay a bunk fee. You still have
Oh,
to
they charge you for everything?
they charge you for the ride to go to work.
Oh
You
shit.
know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, if you made and then you get paid minimum wage, if that, you know what I'm saying? So back then in the 90s, minimum wage probably went up, I think it was $5.25 an hour. So if I do
Damn.
a whole day's work, um, probably about man $40 going towards
Yeah.
your restitution. The rest of it going your bunk fee, and then they give you like $20 a week for you can go do whatever you want to do with your $20. And it's up to you if you want to take that $20. Basically, that $20 go to your fine, but you don't want snacks and stuff like that. You know, you're trying to live,
Sure.
get a decent haircut or something like that. But man, that so anyway, I did all that little time, man. And like I say, and I was in sports, man. I'm seeing all my friends. I was on the basketball team, all that stuff
Yeah.
back.
This was in your like later years in high school then.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was still in
All
high
the
school.
all the all the important years.
Oh yeah, for sure. So man, so mentally, man, it just did something to me, and that's why I was saying how I do personal development because I just went. It just changed my whole trajectory of life. I had plans to go to college and stuff like that, straight out of high school, but that little incident right there, man, kind of changed my whole trajectory of life. So now,
And how were you like when you were doing that time? Like, were you just like bummed out? Were you working on yourself in there too, and trying to
yeah. So
look forward?
yeah, for sure, man. That's when I really first started reading the novels, and it really, that's when I first. I think I was reading some self help books then. It was
Okay.
entertaining to me. But I would play chess and stuff like that. That's why I learned chess. You know what I'm saying? And I was gang affiliated too at the time. When because in Mississippi, man, when I say gangs and stuff like that, man, it's just your homeboys, your neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? But then you get the reputation to where if you claim that on the street, you have to claim it when you locked up behind bars too. So it was one of them
Oh
things
yeah.
like that. But I was
Yeah,
kind of
we kind of had that growing up too. I kind of understand what you're talking about.
yeah. So but even with the restitution though, that I got out. But man, man, it's hard, especially in a little small town. It's hard to because I still got to do 3 years on probation. So
How old were you when you got out?
I can say it was just a year.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It was like a year rest too. So I was probably about 18 to 19 when I got out. I think I
Yeah.
was probably about 19 when I got out. So I think I probably did maybe. Man, I was doing probation, so now I have a felony on my background. How am I gonna get a good job? So that's when I say I was doing all type of job, restaurant stuff like this. Because now, man, I have to pay probation fees. You know what I'm saying? And it's still I can only get minimum wage jobs at the time. So
Yeah, just trying to get what you can get.
yeah, so I had to pay like $70 a month probation, man. So that was kind of discouraging, you know what I'm saying? Because these people will lock you up if you're not paying your stuff. So anyway, I flunked the drug test on marijuana. That's on really hard drugs, the marijuana.
Yeah.
Flunked the drug test on marijuana. You know, still young, man, still want to go out to the club, still want to hang with my friends and stuff like that, you know. Knowing I can't do the same things that they doing, you know what I'm saying? Because I already got this jacket on my back, which is called a felony. So now, since I messed up probation, I got to bag up this 5 years in the penitentiary. So, and I'm like, man, I ain't number 19 years old. I'm facing 5 years in the penitentiary.
Yeah, just for that, then they gave you 5 years.
Yeah, for the same charge. That's the only crime I ever committed was that.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I had to do the 5 years for that bull junk. You know what I'm saying? Because these people not looking at, you know, they don't really want to hear your story. All they see is credit card fraud. They don't care if that was my girlfriend or whatever. They don't care because I gave my father the
Yeah, they don't care how it happened, but it happened.
so I gave my father the one, the plumber that I'm telling you about. Like I say, my stepdad, but I gave him the paper with her handwriting on it, where she actually gave me the number. Because I still had it in my wallet, because I wrote down the number. So it wasn't me stealing the number or going behind, you know what I'm saying? But I still, I ain't gonna say manipulated. We around the same age. I can't say provoked or anything like that. But no, I misused it or whatever. I own up to that. But anyway, I ended up doing 3 years in the penitentiary because I came up for parole, and I told them really, you know, the story that I'm telling you, man. Like I say, they don't want, so they want to hear you admit to guilt though. And if you don't admit to guilt, because I probably could have got out if I be like, okay, yeah, I did this, but I did not do everything that they said that I do. But they want to hear me say I did all this that the guy really coerced me to say. I say no. So anyway, I end up failing parole, going to the parole board where you sit around on the table and talk to them or whatever. Failed that, you know. Well, I didn't pass the parole hearing that time, so I had to do another like a year and a half. So total, it was like 3 years, man. And that's when I maybe 23, 24 years old.
And that's what I mean, man. You went through a lot. Like, you could have honestly given up at any point. And so after all that time that you had to do, did you try to make it work in Mississippi? I remember you. I know you said you moved to Texas, but was that right after that, or
Oh
did you
no.
give it a few years?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I say, I will.
Because you said you were trying to get a job there in Mississippi, right? And then you had that issue because of felony and all that other stuff. And then
You know,
yeah,
like I
I'm
said,
assuming
yeah.
I'm
So I
assuming
stayed.
you just wanted to start over after that.
Yeah, no, I say Mississippi. Like I say, stayed in my hometown for like another year, and I can tell, man, it's just a small town. When I was writing the tickets to the truckers, I ended up staying on the Gulf Coast, man, for like another 3-4 years. Um,
Oh, okay.
yeah. I stayed on the Gulf Coast for about 3 or 4 years. I can say it was just hard for me to get a good job. You know what I'm saying? But I was holding I worked in the grocery store for like 2 or 3 years, stocking shelf. But I moved my way up. I work a night shift. You know what I'm saying? I moved myself from the regular aisle to the dairy department. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because dairy department was getting paid like 75 cents more. And then I was doing such a good job at night with the dairy department. You know, the manager called me in. Hey man, you know that the real people out here that's really doing something working in the daytime on the day shift. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, convinced me and talked me to get into the day shift and work for that for a little while. And then they had this thing called Deepwater Horizon, man. And
Oh
that's
yeah.
so Deepwater Horizon was an oil spill on the Gulf Coast, and these pallets would go and float up on the beaches, and they would need people to come pick them up. So I seen that. And I told him, I say, man, now I'm finna go work for the Deepwater Horizon. Now I've been with the growth store for about 2 years, about two and a half, maybe 3 years. Called Food Giant. So I would work for them. Well, anyway, I told him, man, I'm gonna go work for Deepwater Horizon. He's like, man, that's a temp job. This is where your future is right here. You can grow and be a man. And I'm thinking in my head, dude, you can't be making no more than about 25, 30. You know what I'm saying? Because this the head manager. I'm thinking in my head, you can't probably be making no more than 25, 30,000, man. Man, I always saw better for myself. You know what I'm saying? Even though he probably didn't at the time. So I'm like, man, I'm at least go take this chance because I was getting paid $9 at the grocery store. And believe Deepwater Horizon, they was getting paid maybe like $15 an hour, but it was a chance to get some money. You know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna work
Get some money and do
yeah,
something a little different and get your foot in the door.
yeah, $15 an hour for about 7 days a week. They want you down
Yeah.
there. And that kind of reminiscence of how the Katrina job was. Because I know I got on my feet real quick because it was quick money. So I
Yeah.
knew, I knew I can get a lot more money, you know what I'm saying? And then when it end, okay, like you say, I can find something else to do. But anyway, so when that fell, at least they laid everybody off though. And now what was good for me, it was a blessing for me because I can get unemployment. And
Okay.
that's how I survived in Texas because I was drawing unemployment. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that was what covered you for that year, or like helped you out, because I know it's not much.
Oh yeah, man. We went down probably like $100. I think about two or $300 a month, no more. You know what I'm saying? But it was enough, for me to put gas and man, I would eat eat out the dollar menu, man. You know what I'm saying? I say a double cheeseburger, fries, and a sweet tea. That was my thing, man. I survived out that. Man, high
Yeah,
blood.
you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. So it was a rough, but man, I would say I wouldn't change it, man. I wouldn't change it, but that's kind of like my story, man. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like I said, it kind of helps you be who you are, right? Like, I don't know if at that point, like you said, when you were in there reading books and stuff, is that where you kind of like, uh, I don't know how to phrase this, but like turned it around, like you or focused more um, on that?
Yeah, man. And when I was reading books, man, it would, and that's why I enjoy reading because it would take me out of there. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're in that type of environment, man, it's a lot of stuff going on, from fights to killings to a whole lot of stuff going on around you.
Yeah, I can
You know,
imagine, man.
but man, that was my escape. And I would read novels and stuff like that, and I would actually put myself, in those stories, in those shoes and stuff like that. But the books, man, definitely helped as far as uh, uh, mental development. I See You at the Top by Ziglar, and
Mhm.
that's what he talk about, stinking thinking, because you gotta imagine everything that I seen. That's why I say I overdose on self development and books and stuff like that. Because in one of those books in the penitentiary, I remember the quote was, "An idle mind become a dumping ground for junk." You know what I'm saying? And that always
Yeah.
stuck with me, man. So I would really just if I experienced all that, you know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? From the cursing, bad language, a lot of stuff that I've seen in life that young people should not see, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
All that garbage, you can't just change that overnight. You know what I'm saying?
No.
So that's why I say I have to work 10 times as harder, you know what I'm saying, to replace that. I always say too, you know what I'm saying, if you have a negative thought, you got to replace it with something positive. So I got to just put more of this positive stuff in my mind, positive stuff to kind of overload all that bull junk that I had to go through. I didn't really have nobody just telling me, what I could be or how you can do it. So I really would find my heroes and stuff like that off those self-development books. They actually telling me now you can do this, you can change. Really like the Earl Nightingales and the Jim Rohns, man, even the audio books and stuff like that, I started really implementing them things. There's one thing to read a book and just say somebody can say, because Earl Nightingale say try for 30 days. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Just try, and I seen, man, my life improving when I actually start implementing and putting some of that stuff. It used to be weird. Zig Ziglar got in his book, wake up every morning and say, it's going to be a great day. And I remember saying that, and people wake, waking up looking at me like I'm crazy. And he said that in the book, the people around you gonna be thinking, that you're kind of weird and what's going on with this guy. And man, I like I said, man, I just thought, just implementing the things in that book, man, and it helped me.
No, and that's a good way or a good thing for you. Like you said, nobody was there hyping you up or trying to tell you or motivate you. A lot of that was self motivation, and you got a lot of those out of those books, for sure. So then, you wanted to get a fresh start in Houston, right? You said you looked at a few cities. I will say, I think Texas is one of the busier ones for like HVAC in particular.
Yeah.
I'm sure you understand that now.
Oh yeah.
And how did you get your first job over here? Because I can imagine that that must have been. I know, like you said, you were here for over a year, probably applying to company after company. Like,
Right. So,
how much of a struggle was that just trying to get your first job?
oh man, like I say, and when I say I would probably fill out an application for every company around here. And like I said, I was getting interviews. The universe just gonna open doors for you when you have a positive mindset and you really
Yeah.
you have a goal though that you're going to achieve. You're going to achieve. And to me, my faith in God, my faith in Jesus, man, he always he gonna put me in the right position. So
Mhm.
even when those doors went closed, even when people wasn't giving me the opportunity because he knew that wasn't the right opportunity for me. But he was gonna let me make the decision, not only them make the decision, he was gonna let me make the decision. And the reason I say that because the whole year that I couldn't get no job, uh, when Waste Service called me right before that, man, two jobs called me at the same time. The first one was a guy wanted me to come work for him to do duct work. And he was gonna pay me $18 an hour. And I'm like, okay, yeah, we about to get it started. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that's good.
He was gonna give me the job, $18 an hour, and then Waste Service call. It's almost the same day. A couple of days later, I had interviews signed up, ready to roll. Both of them, I was ready to go.
Yeah.
And, man, but their residential company running duct work, and then $18 an hour, he was going to hire me. And then with Waste Service, Mr. Lovejoy, he was he started off as a technician, and he was the service manager at the time. Man, I kind of told him my story. I was up front with everybody. Yeah, I got a felony, but I got my GED. Like I would read books on, how to conduct yourself in an interview, man. And I told, uh, I wanted that job, and he seen that I did want the job. But anyway,
The commercial service
the
job, right?
commercial job. He told me, since you ain't got no experience, we're gonna start you off at $8 an hour. Mind you, this 2012. And
Mhm.
I'm knowing, this right outside of minimum wage. Okay, I got my EPA license. I got my Texas TDL technician certification. I'm thinking about $8 an hour, but he was like, man, you're gonna be in front of a lot of different equipment. We're gonna start you off at maintenance. You're gonna be around with some technicians. Be working, split system, chillers, rooftop unit, telepacks, ice machines, man.
Yeah.
Whatever's in that building, is gonna have you working on it, right?
Yeah, commercials, everything.
And that's why I say God gonna let me make the decision. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna take this quick money right here. True enough, you're gonna be in HVAC, or you're gonna take the high paying job, or you're gonna take something really, to me, more sustainable and going ready to grow my career. Because I think if I'd have started off with that, if I'd have started off with the ductwork job, that's probably what I still would have been. I ain't gonna say still what I've been doing, but I wouldn't have been a well-rounded tech as I am now. You know what I'm saying? Because I've seen so many different things.
Yeah, because I hear that from a lot of guys too that start off in installs or duct work or something like that, and they actually struggle to go to service or any other
Yeah,
aspect because they weren't taught that, when they started, and that's all they know. But
yeah,
so you turned down a very good paying job at the time
yeah.
for a lower paying job, but you were just thinking about your future the whole time, right?
I was just
Like
thinking about
you mapped it out.
it was just, that's why I say I wasn't thinking that far in the future, far as where I am now.
Yeah.
I could say because I still had my felony at the time. Um,
Okay.
I still had my felony at the time, man. And like
And
I say,
they gave you And they gave you a chance even with all that.
Yeah, he gave me a chance with all that. You know what I'm saying? Because I told him, you know, I was up front with him. Hey, this what I have. You know, they run the background check or whatever. Life don't reveal the back of the book. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
When he gave me that opportunity, I told him, I won't let you down. You know, I'm gonna be the first one. And I was still staying in my truck at the time at this interview. I'm still staying in my truck. And remember I tell you, I went to jail for my license and stuff like that. So
Oh yeah.
my man, even when I got the job, like 2 weeks later, he called me in the office. He say, you know, your license suspended, right? And I'm like, man, you know, it's just one of them down moments, like I can't win for lose. And
Yeah,
so
like you're getting the job, and it's like,
yeah, I
oh,
got the job, you know what I'm saying? Because you know, if you're an HVAC guy, you know what I'm saying, you need to be in a service vehicle. They want to put you in a
oh
van
yeah.
to ride around and do stuff. So, but he told me, man, that guy helped me out so much, man. He was like, well, this we're gonna do. He said, don't worry about it. He
Mm-hmm.
said, you just gonna ride with somebody until you get it straight. So, but I'm
Okay.
still staying in my Suburban at the time. He don't know this. Don't nobody at the job know this, man. I would stay at this place called the Arena Theaters in their parking garage. I would stay up in there. And when I say first one, last one to leave, I ain't got nowhere to go anyway, really. You know what I'm saying? Back to my Suburban. So I would be there about I would get my modern refrigeration handbook.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Cause Lovejoy, man, his work ethic was some serious. He would be there like 4:30 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? So that was cool with me.
Damn.
He would be there like 4:30 to 5 in the morning, all the way to 7 at night. Man, so it's almost perfect for me, man. And he seen that drive in me. You know what I'm saying? He didn't really know I was homeless at the time, but
Yeah.
man, I would drive up there like 5 in the morning, and I would open that book, and all the other technicians, they would get there like 7 and 8 o'clock, between 7 and 8. So I'm getting to, you know the staff and stuff like that, man. And true enough, still ain't know a lot about HVAC, but hey, if I see somebody trash can and stuff like that, you know, one of the CRMs, I see a dispatcher, something like that, need they trash, man, I'm into, you know, I'm being a friendly person, you know.
Yeah.
And that's how you gotta, well, that's how I had to, you know, move around, you know what I'm saying? Get to know people, smile. I got to know all the engineers. I got to know all the green team up in there, you know what I'm saying? So everybody liked me there too. I forgot where I was going with this, but like I say, I used to be the first one.
But that's a good point. I always tell people, like, network, whether it's in your own company, network with other trades.
Mhm.
You go to the supply house, parts house, like everywhere. Just
Yeah.
you never know. And then, like for me, we deal with restaurants, so like talk to the cook, talk to the host,
Yep.
waitress, waiters, because you never know if somebody will recommend you or they're gonna move up
Yeah.
or anything like that. So
Yeah, don't just work on the equipment and leave. Get to know people and stuff like that. But like
you
but like
gotta you gotta
I
be
was
a people
saying,
person.
so even with that, like I said, I had to get my license and stuff straight, man. He was like, I'm just gonna get you to ride with somebody. So all my money, remember I only making $8 an hour. Everything that I had, I would send it to Mississippi to get my license cleared, because Mississippi had a hold of my license, so I could not get a Texas license.
Oh,
So
okay, yeah.
I paid like $1,400 because I was like, man, I got a job, I can get me an apartment. But I had to put that on hold. So I still, even with that job, I still end up a whole another month before I can actually save up enough money to get me an apartment. And I got me an apartment not far from uh, where I was working there for the commercial company.
That's awesome that he helped you out
Yeah.
for all that. Um, Still took you in, like you said. Yeah, because you made the point about, like, they just want to put you out there in a truck, right? Get you out there. Like, that's how you're making the most money for them. But like he kind of helped you out, stuck it out and got you in there. Did
Yeah.
you
Mhm.
So before that, I know you said you did a little bit of schooling here and there, crash course. You had your book. You didn't have any actual HVAC experience, right? Was that your first HVAC job?
On my first HVAC job. Yeah.
And how long did you stay with them, or did you stay with them the entire time?
Oh yeah. Oh no. So I stayed with them for 5 or 6 years, and then that's when I went to Hunting for like a year and a half. A summer 2019, I worked for Hunting a year, but that's when I went out on
Okay.
my own after that. I started full time 2020. So I stayed with
And
him about a year and a half, but I stayed for Wade for like 6, 7 years. And Wade, like say, ended up, starting filter, didn't know nothing. Like I was telling you, ended up being a supervisor for them. They helped me get my contractor license.
Oh, that was the company that helped you get your license.
Yeah, yeah. Because I only worked for 2 companies since I've been here, and that was
Okay.
Waste Service and Hunting. Yeah.
And how was it learning on the job? Like how did it take you a while? I know you already had previous
Yeah.
like plumbing work and all that other courses you had.
So I was like a sponge, man. Like especially even with them 2 weeks when I'm around with somebody, people they didn't mind either, man, because I'm sure some people, they want their space or whatever, but I didn't want to be a liability to them. I didn't want to be a burden to them. So anything they need, I wanted to help them out the best way I can. If this man carrying a tool bag for you, let me rope all the stuff up. I want to make your day easy as I can. I'm gonna try to find out how you like to teach. People is different. I don't want to nag you. I don't want to get on your
Yeah.
nerves or anything like that. I'm gonna try to find the best way, man. But everybody for waste service, bro. I'm talking about all the technicians, man. From day one, all of them, man, was so willing to help me out, though. And all of them, I'm talking about when I say wasn't holding anything back.
Okay.
So I would take all that from them because I know, you can be in some situation where people don't want to help you out, man. But I was not in that case. But I know the reason for that because they wasn't doing everybody like that. But the reason they was doing that for me, man, because like I say, the self-development that I did, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
The way I worked on myself, I was likable. You know what I'm saying? You have to be likable because don't nobody really have to give you that knowledge. So I tried to be likable.
That's a big point. Like I know I mentioned it for work, but like just being a people person, like you said, with your coworkers, people that are essentially going to train you or have the knowledge that you can get from like your peers and stuff. Like you gotta be likable. You gotta be a people person all around. Like it's gonna benefit you, and just in life in general. I mean,
Yeah,
I've always looked at life like that. Try to be on, I guess, like everybody's good terms, good side. Treat people the way you want to be treated. All that good stuff. So I'm assuming you asked a lot of questions. You did all this. Did you get to do hands-on stuff right away, or did they kind of make you wait?
they would put me in this class called Larry Guru. He retired now. A lot of people in Houston know Larry Guru, but I would still take night class and stuff like that too. Now, don't get me wrong. So even when I was working 10 and 12 hours, and that's what I love about weight too, man. I dude, they had so many accounts. You know what I'm saying? I could work as long as I wanted to. So I was getting a lot of overtime. So even if I was getting $8 an hour, it would turn to $12 an hour.
Okay,
I was,
nice.
and when I say probably my first 3 years, I would work. I probably didn't have a minimum of 60 hours work week. So I would work at least 20 overtime hours for 3 years. That's how dedicated I was. When I say HVAC people, trust me, man, I was 365 HVAC. That's why I'm saying early in the conversation, I have to take the technician mind out and try to put my business hat on now and not forget about everything. But I would take night classes, and Larry Guru classes, any kind of training, or that modern refrigeration handbook. If I was working on something that day, or if a technician was working on, swapping out a motor, we in commercial, we do 463 phase and stuff like that. So if he had a motor, man, that modern refrigeration got everything in there.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So if I was working on that motor or something, I would go and read about that motor, you know what I'm saying? And be ready for next time. Or
And that's the best way to do it because you're going to be doing that well into your career. I still do it too. I read manuals after work. I look up stuff I don't know.
yeah,
You got to do all that extra work
yeah,
after work.
I would read all the manuals. Like I say, man, because I had to, bro, we worked on everything, and I would not turn down any work. And a lot of guys that were, technicians in the company, it was certain things they didn't want to do. And I always told myself too, I would never be too big to do maintenance. I know a lot of times we don't like to do maintenance, but I seen what, a lot of the older guys, they didn't want to do maintenance. It's a ladder and you have to take these steps. I have a light bulb up there. I can't reach. I don't know how I can reach that light bulb if I get a ladder and unscrew it. I can't
Mhm.
jump up there. You know what I'm saying? If I jump up there, I'm not going to be able to unscrew it. You know what I mean? I can't unscrew it and, put it back up there at the same time. To me, that's the same thing like HVAC. You have to go through those steps. And hopefully then that light bulb end up clicking maybe about a year and a half, 2 years in the trade. But yeah, I wasn't on the ground running like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I would mess up stuff, man. Yeah, it was some scary moments at the time. you know, chasing down capacitors and stuff like that, and actually bump the capacitor with my hand and get shocked, or
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I'm working on ladder. You know, commercial, man, we be in dangerous situations sometimes. Wasn't good at schematics at the time. And so now I got to trace my wires instead of reading the schematic and go right to the end where it's at. So now I'm trying to
Mm.
trace all my wires, stuff like that. And accidentally clamped the wire, and luckily it wasn't my hand. And they put a big old hole in the wire cut. And I'm
Oh,
talking
I've
about,
done that before too, man.
ooh, and I'm getting down hard beeping like this, but little stuff like that. No, I gotta learn schematic. I need to be able to turn this power off, or you know, and trace this circuit down.
And there's no shortcuts or anything like that. Like you said, you work your way up. And that's what I try to tell people, because I get a lot of people that ask me like, "Hey, I'm trying to get into it," or like they're looking for their first job, or they got their first job and they already want like the high paying stuff." And I'm like, doesn't work like that. Like, this trade gives you so much, and it will take care of you, right? You'll put food on your table, and as you're seeing it too, like, you're gonna get all these luxury things later, but you got to work your way up. And I always tell people that, like, just get into it, get your foot in the door, see if you like it. The money will come.
You have to go the extra mile, and I always say, man, it's another Jim Rohn quote. You have to work on yourself just as much as you work on your job. So you're gonna give your employer like 8 hours a day. You need to probably work on yourself 8 hours a day, at least half of that. You know what I'm saying? And when I say work on yourself, whatever that is, if that's learning more about your job,
Yeah.
if that personal development, whatever, but you have to work on yourself, you know, twice as
Yeah,
hard.
there's no other way, and all that extra work that you got to do. So that company helped you get your contractor's license. You said you were there for like 5-6 years or whatever it was. So that's your first HVAC job. How or when did you decide that you wanted to get your license? Was that just kind of like
Right.
getting it for yourself, or did you have a plan for that?
And when I was saying life don't reveal back of the book, but if you just take care of today and do the right things today, you know what I'm saying? You don't know what door is gonna open up for you. So man, like I say, because it's a lot of people that get a felony early on, they're like, oh man, I got a felony now, forget it. And they really
Yeah.
stay in the streets, and they just start picking up more crime, or just fall through that tunnel. I thought that was gonna be on my background for the rest of my life, you know what I'm saying? But one day, you know, working for Wade for like 3 years. Now I'm actually earning money. Like I say, I work a bunch of overtime. Now I'm actually be able to save some money. Wade had this thing called Legal Shield that we can sign up for and to take out our check. They take it out of our check. And it's probably like $10 a day because we get a discount. So
Okay.
well, $10 a week. We got paid weekly. So
Yeah.
they actually Legal Shield. And our buyers, and I'm still with them to this day. I pay them like $500 some dollars for my business. That's how I get my lawyers and anything like that if I ever run into any kind of problems. But that's how I got introduced with Legal Shield, because sometimes way bring people in, you know, like 401k plans. I would get 401k. I call a lawyer, man, and they contacted one in Mississippi for me because that's what my felony was. And the lady was like, yeah, I'm looking through it now. It's not responsible. She was like, and I'm like, man, discouraged or whatever. But I'm like, okay, you know, I'm all right. You know, I got me a good job or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm going to school. I ain't really tripping. But bro, before I hung up that phone, she was like, hold up, Mr. Washington. Give me a minute,
Mhm.
man. The phone stayed silent for like 3-4 minutes. She was like, it looked like they just passed, because I got a nonviolent crime. So she was like,
Yeah.
Mississippi just passed a law to where you know, the felon that I had, it was expungable, man. So I got everything sealed. There's nothing on my background anymore. So I can say that kind of opened more doors for me. I can do really whatever I want to do. I can get my contractor license if I want to. I can fill out an application anywhere I want to fill out an application at. But once I got that expunged, man, I was like, okay, now I'm finna go study for my contractor license test. Talked to Way about it. They actually paid for my classes to take the courses to study for my contractor license. That's kind of how that worked, man.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you once you got that taken care of, your on your record, that kind of just like motivated you to do more.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I say, because you got to think about, even in business, man. I even started out with like home warranties and stuff like that. I mean, you can't do work like that without a contractor license. Really, you can't
Oh
do
yeah.
you can't do HVAC work anyway without a contractor license.
But there are like two kinds of people that get into the trades or get into HVAC. Like the people that are okay with working for somebody, get the benefits, whatever, get higher pay. But there's some people that want to go into business for themselves. So you kind of went that route.
Yeah,
You were motivated to do your own thing, basically.
right. Because like I say, like I was saying earlier, my father now, even my biological father, his father, man, my last name Washington. We already been entrepreneurs. You know what I'm saying? My granddad owned auto mechanic shops. He owned grocery stores. He was the first black man in Vicksburg, Mississippi, on a gas station. Up until his dying day, man, he was selling ice machine out the until he couldn't get around no more. So even he had cafes, man. He was selling ice and stuff like that. So that entrepreneurship was always been in me. And like I was saying earlier,
Yeah.
though, even with my other side, my stepfather's side, they don't have their own plumbing company. He still had his own plumbing company back in Vicksburg, Mississippi today, Smith Plumbing. Like you say, you have people that, want to work the 9 to 5, want to work for a company, enjoy the benefits, stuff like that. That's cool because entrepreneurship is not that easy. I know
No.
people watch us post videos, stuff like that. It's a lot involved, and it's really 365 now because
Oh yeah. Yeah, man. Like
yeah,
there's the whole business side. You got to get in line first, and then
yeah,
you open your business, right? In
yeah,
whatever it is that you do. And like you said, 365, I mean, we have gotten it under control where we're kind of like off most weekends, right? We're not going crazy or anything, but the beginning is the hardest part. You're working 7 days, 365, like you said. You're
yeah.
working long hours. You're building up
Mm,
your customer profile,
yeah,
all that you're working on.
yeah,
And you got a lot of ups and downs. Like we've had issues where like I said, we took on too much work. We went up and down. We weren't making money at one point. We had too many people on our payroll. Like
mm,
all that you learn as you go, because you're not gonna know everything when you start, man. It's a whole other
yeah.
beast.
Yeah, a whole nother ball game. Like I say, if you working with a company, man, hey, if something go wrong, you gonna get off and you just go to sleep at night
Oh
and
yeah.
get, get back up in the morning and and face it the next day or whatever. But when you're a business owner, though, you gotta put those fires out. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta handle everything. You gotta know how to handle like angry customers, all that stuff.
Good customer service. Like I say, man, I got
That's a big part, yeah.
almost 100 reviews, 5-star reviews. I only have one-star reviews, and that's from a customer that I really couldn't do nothing about. He didn't
Yeah.
want to pay something that he agreed to, but little stuff like that, you still have to be professional
Oh yeah.
and respond to that review because people are going to see your response. So you can't, get angry, through text stuff like this. So it's a whole lot, that we definitely got to deal with. I enjoy it though. At the end of the day, 'cause man, I just enjoy like building and really want to see it grow. Also,
Yeah.
just far as I think I made a video the other day, man. You got to trust the process, and right now, I'm the process. Cause it's going to be we have goals and stuff like that, but I enjoyed the process of it. So even when I was learning the technical side of it, you know what I'm saying? I enjoyed. I honestly enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed changing those filters out. I was always enthused about changing the filters, washing them coils out. Taking my time washing the coil. I wanted to do it right. I want to do a good job. You know, and man, and I can tell people, especially when you first get into the trade, though, that light bulb gonna click. You know what I'm saying? But why that light bulb out? Just enjoy, the dark until you
Yeah,
get.
man. That's what I tell people too. I always tell people like it took, and I've used that term before too. Like it clicks at one point, and it just took longer for me. I'm not gonna lie about it. Like the first couple of years, I didn't like. I liked it because
Mhm,
we're fixing things, taking apart things, but I wasn't super into it. And then it took me a couple years or a few years, and then I started really enjoying what I did and dealing, like you said, with the whole customer service because I didn't like that part when I started.
mhm,
All that stuff grew on me, and then like now it's like I love what I do. I don't mind going out even on like the after hour calls or the weekends. every now and then, yeah, you got like some plans that you might have to hold off on, or you can't make it to some stuff like that. That sucks. Like there's no way around it. But
Yeah.
for the most part, if I ain't got nothing to do, man, I don't mind working.
Man, if you treat the customer right and you do a good job, I say I don't do a lot of callbacks. You know what I'm saying? Now all of us gonna have callbacks sometime, but I know if I do it the correct way, that make me sleep at night also. You know what I'm saying? Because when I do take shortcuts, I'm like, man, I hope this don't happen. Because I know
You start thinking of everything that
yeah,
you forgot or could have
yeah,
gone wrong.
exactly. You know what I'm saying? But 9 times in this HVAC though, you just stick with the fundamentals. If you install it the correct way, or install a part the correct way, or troubleshoot it the correct way,
Just
from
take
A to
and it
B.
yeah, and it like some of the stuff that we're talking about, like it only takes a few more minutes
Yep,
or whatever it is, like right, make double check things and stuff like that, because
I'll tell you,
like you don't want callbacks. It's like one of the worst things you can get.
you get that drip in the ceiling. You know, especially 'cause I do a lot of residential, man.
Oh yeah.
You don't want to see the drips in the ceiling. So little stuff like that, you want to just make sure you got that kind of stuff right. Because stuff
Yeah,
like
man.
that can hurt you, man.
You're in people's houses. You got to respect their house. You got to, treat everything um, the best that you can. So like so then they helped you get your license over there at that company. How long or at what point did you want to start your own business? Was it shortly after? Did you get everything in motion right after that?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I already knew when I got my contract license when I was gonna start my
Like
business.
you were set. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I would already. I was even when I was taking the contract license, I would already kind of like look at videos uh, of guys. You know, Fox Family Heat in there. I would look at his videos and stuff like that. It wasn't too many out at that time,
Yeah,
but
not too many, but there's a few like OGs out there that were posting. Like
yeah,
I was on there too a lot, like looking up stuff.
yeah. But I knew in the back of my mind once I was getting that contractor license, yeah, man, I was eventually going to go out on my own though. That was the goal, and I'm pretty sure Wade knew that too. But like I say, I mean, they helped me get it. But a lot of time though, a lot of companies when they help you get it, they need somebody in the organization to have their contract license because a lot of the owners don't have their contract
I,
license.
I've heard that. Like I'm not used to that because
Mhm.
like I have mine for my company. I know some friends that started their own company and they got their own license and stuff. But people have mentioned to me that some of these
Yeah,
people just they know how to run a business or something, but they don't have their license. They require somebody that has
I
it.
don't want to say the dollar amount. I know some guys contractors numbers that they were using. They want to give them so much money on a bonus check. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
December, right before Christmas,
Yeah.
stuff like that. And it wasn't no more than a couple $1,000 if that. I mean, shoot, I know I can make a lot more than that with a contractor license. So, but even but so in Texas they have to sign off on you. You got to have somebody that you've been working for to sign off. So,
Oh
like I
yeah.
said, in Way pay, I didn't know Way was going to pay for me to go to school to get my contractor license. Now, don't get me wrong. I was paying for myself to go at first. And somebody ever since I was cool with everybody, that's why I good with networking. One of the HR lady, like, Way cover that school for you to get your contract license, right? I'm like, oh yeah. And so yeah, man. So they actually reimbursed me. You know what
Oh,
I'm saying?
okay. That's cool.
Yeah, they reimbursed me for sure. Yeah. But I was getting so once I got that felony out of my record, I was eligible, man. I think Texas was 4 or 5 years, and I was with them like 4 or 5 years. I,
Oh yeah.
I was going to get my contract license for sure once I was eligible.
Man, that's awesome. And then now you're in it a few years. You've I don't know if you had any struggles when you started your business, but I'm pretty sure you were prepping for it. It sounds like you always want to prep, like
Yeah,
you reading, looking up stuff. It sounds like you always prep for like the next step.
yeah. I wouldn't use the word struggle. If anything, like learning experience or something like that. I definitely never struggled. You know what I mean? I definitely don't want to
Like
say
with you
I,
never struggled with the business, right? You like went out there and just got it.
I'm still learning. You know what I'm saying? I'm still not where I want to be. You know what I mean?
Well, man, you're only a few years in. I thought you were on your own for a lot longer, to be honest. Like you're doing a lot, but like everybody's like everybody's story is different. Everybody's path is different. Some people struggle. Some people have ups and downs. Some people are just, you know, they put all they can into it, and they get a lot out of it. Because like I say we had ups and downs, but it was you know, me and my dad trying to figure things out, and like I said, the money would dipped at one point, but it wasn't super hard. Like you get into the trades, you learn a skill, you're set for life, man. Like,
Yeah.
and if you want to open up your own business, like I said, it's all about how hard you work. Because I'm sure you went door to door talking to people, trying to get those customers, and we did the same thing just with restaurants and hospitals.
And dude, I would start out with I started off with a magnet on my truck. I started off in my Dodge
Oh
Ram.
yeah, so did we. Little
Yeah.
Chevy truck that we had.
Yeah. So when I got my contractor license too, I had a Challenger, clean, man, leather seats, had the rims on it. I just got married. Me and my wife got a house, and I was like, man, I can't make no money in this Challenger. It looked good, but so I traded that and got that Dodge Ram, and it was black. You know, a real service vehicle, mostly white vehicles and stuff like that. But it was black, man. I was looking at the magnet the other day, but the magnet was exactly like this right here. So I had the magnet right here. These my first business card right here, man. Have my personal cell phone number on there. I ain't have a business phone at the time. Got my personal cell phone on here. I got 24/7. Hey, look, I'm working for a company, knowing it, but I'm just branding, man. But I started off with a little magnet from Vista Print. Got these cars from Vista Print. Put that magnet on there. I always preach, man. Don't go in a lot of debt, though. I ain't going.
Oh yeah. I tell people the same thing. Yeah,
I ain't going a lot of debt. You know, as I grow, you have to have debt. You know what I'm saying, to really start a business. Well, I'm not gonna say start. Probably a little bit to start, but in the future, once you get there, but starting off, man, just go with the cheapest route. You don't really need, you don't really need rap starting off and stuff like that. But I started off, man, bandit signs. I would put bandit signs up because I would watch a lot of lawn care guys. That would put me on because those are entrepreneurs, man. Like the Keith Kelfis. I used to watch his channel, man, how he was getting out there grinding. He did lawn care, but I would get bandit signs. And I would learn the bandit sign. When I say bandit sign, that's yard signs.
Yeah, the yard sign. Yeah.
Without a bandit sign, because a lot of places you don't supposed to put them. So I would like learn little tricks like that. Like, okay, the city workers, okay, from Monday, they out Monday through Friday. They work on the weekend. So hey, I would put a bunch of them in my truck and round about 4:00 in the evening on a Friday. I'll go set them around town because I already know they're going to snatch them up Monday morning, but I'll put them in the good spots. Sometimes they'll leave them. And I'll pay like $100 for 100 of them, man. I get a card, I get a call or whatever, and that one call take care of that whole purchase on that bandit sign. But I would always invest, man. That's what my wife tell me. You always put money in that company. I would always invest in my company, though. Every little money that I make, man, I started off with cotton shirts, I make a little money, you know what I'm saying, and get my shirts, but I upgraded to a different kind of cars. I got door hangers and stuff like that. Man, I bought me and my wife some roller skates. You know what I'm saying? I was like, shoot, baby, we'll roll around and roller skates and hand out some of these business cars, around the neighborhoods or whatever. So we just try to make fun of it and stuff like that, man. And like I said, I do got a very, very supportive wife too. So
that's very important too, man. But yeah, that's what I tell people all the time too. I'm like, don't go out. We don't even buy new vans all the time either. Like, get a used van, that's in good condition, or like you were talking about your truck. We started in an old Chevy, and we slapped a magnet on the side. You don't want to stay there. You're obviously that, like you said, you want to keep investing and growing, and then get all your equipment that you need to start, and then get better equipment, as you go. And it's a whole process. But sometimes people want the quick money, and I'm like, you got to start somewhere.
Dude, so even with my work van, so I started off in the truck. So I didn't go into debt to get my work van. I found my first actually work van on Craigslist.
Yeah, we did that too.
Yeah, I found it on Craigslist. It was in San Antonio. I wanted $5,000 for it. And I'm in Houston. I say, man, I'm gonna call him. I'm just gonna throw a number out there. If he say 30, I say 3,500. And he said, yeah, come get it. Cause he been in, and I talked to him, you know what I'm saying? He been in the trade, he done earned him a lot of money that for him to go out there and get something new. He was like, man, you know, it treated me good or whatever. This thing had over 300 some thousand miles on it, you know. But long story short though, man, I said if he do 3,500, I'm finna just go get it. You know what I'm saying? I'll take a chance on it. It might be a lemon, I don't know, but if he can give me at least 2 or 3 years, but that but I end up putting, you know what I'm saying? You'll learn from your mistakes too. You got to be careful with that, because if you do get, I want to say this, the business mind part of it. If you do go get some, what I'm gonna say cheap, and I don't like to use the word cheap, or if you go get some newer for maintenance and stuff like that. True enough, because I kind of would start off. I'd rather start off right here, and maybe to put money into it, trying to maintain it, than go in debt and get something. But you're gonna put money into it anyway. I had to put like transmission in there, put a radiator in there, compressor went out, my water pump, you name it, probably went out on the truck, but I didn't have to put all that at one time. At least it'd get me for, you know, about 4 or 5 months to the check engine light come on or something. And I fixed that, but I was making money, you know what I'm saying? So it really wasn't no problem. It kind of would take care of itself until you know, to this day I recently bought me something newer, you know. So
yeah, man, and that's what I always tell people too. All the points are hidden there. Like it's a process. You don't have to spend big money to start your business. You know, all that.
Now it really don't take much, man. I say you need a little something, but as long as you stocking your parts and stuff like that up,
like when you do a job, you need a part. Go, you know, with the money that you make, go buy 2 of those or stock up or something like that. I know, watching your YouTube and all the stuff that you post, like you're out there to help people and share that. Just like you said, when you started working your job in HVAC, you nobody gatekeeped anything, right? They helped you out.
It helped me out, man. Yeah, that's my thing, man. I'm pretty much an open book, man. I always say too, man, I'm not here to compete. I'm here to create. You know what I mean? Because remember, I was saying, even in the classrooms, though, unfortunately, now I know that people that are watching your channel, they eager to learn. People that watch my channel, they want to learn. But a lot of times when you do get in these classrooms, if it's 30 people in there, only 2 or 3 people really paying attention. You know what I'm saying? So even if we're giving out the knowledge, who's going to actually use it? You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm telling you, when I start actually applying what I was reading in some of these books, because a lot of times we can read these books, but we ain't applying the knowledge. I mean, it really don't. It ain't gonna add up anyway. But nah, man.
Man. So I'm gonna wrap this up. I appreciate you for coming on the show. I had a fun conversation with you, learning about your story, man. And if anybody listening or watching this, man, there is no excuse. You've heard Walter talk about everything that was put in front of him, and he owns his own business. Like, that stuff happens if you put your mind to it, man. You want to close out on anything? You want to say anything before we get off?
Nah, man, appreciate it, Adrian. A reliable HVACR, man. Thanks for having me. All right, HVAC people.